All right, YouTube fam, another day, another episode. We have something to talk about. So, another controversy. A Ghanaian in the Netherlands, he just received his Dutch passport, and he claims that passport is more valuable than having a PhD from a reputable university in Ghana.
For PhD now, and any of the universities in Ghana, now for Ghana passport home. Now for expensive, luxurious cars now one. Or fat bank accounts. Or big properties are and all companies are all. Now for US embassy are not pay say. Who person to coin numero to mount visa. For British High Commission, Australia High Commission, Japan, China, embassies, any single embassies. Send the what's anyama win PhD can mount visa. Security man no jina gate na no krom Ghana ni na wo sika chen no obepam. Ma wo me toilet to Holland degree kra me ni bi. My passport 20% ko US and pay ya me to ticket pe me ko. Wo PhD ya we nya visa kra me no ko US no. You do US lie me me different chain lie wo be dim because of this passport. Timi see passport we a valuable chain PhD. E wo Lagos. Any university bi a Ghana.
So we have to talk about this. So DLS coming at you. All right, so I think people who follow trends definitely know about what's going on this very topic. Somebody got their Dutch citizenship, a passport, and based off of the opportunities, the doors, and the travel travel worthiness,
flexibility.
He thinks it's more valuable than having a PhD. I mean, not generally speaking, but specifically a PhD from Ghana.
Yes.
And this is going viral. People are kind of giving a lot of flack, a lot of
hate, everything.
Hate. There's been a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Hate, flag, insult being heard at this guy. So we're just gonna open it up and see what we can make of it. So what do you think?
I think he's right 50
to a degree.
Yeah, 50-50.
Okay.
I think that we can't totally debunk the importance of a PhD because a PhD is usually research done over a long period of time in a specific field, which means that when you come out as a PhD holder, you should be an expert in that specific research area. What it also means is for a PhD to become useful, you need to be able to apply what you have researched on. And I think the angle he's coming from is we've seen so many PhD holders in Ghana research in specific fields into detail, and they are not able to apply to help the country develop. That one I have a problem with. But as a PhD, as in a PhD, it is a useful thing. So I can't completely say that it is useless. But on the other hand, I agree with him because if we have not seen any benefit from the PhDs, then of course with his Dutch passport, which allows him a lot of flexibility, he can argue that it's more useful than a PhD because you have the PhD, we don't see what you've done with it, but with my Dutch passport, it opens so many opportunities for me, opportunities that the PhD has not been able to give me. So that's why I'm saying it's half and half. We can't totally say the PhD is useless. If it's used properly, then it's useful. But then again, just by having a Dutch passport, it opens doors for him. It's
a lot. Okay, let's put it in context. He did not say the PhD is useless. He just said the passport, the Dutch passport, is more valuable.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Than the PhD.
So
the passport gives you
in Ghana
access to quality education.
Quality education,
especially an
life.
European passport or an American passport. Healthcare and social services, right? Political stability and security. This is what your passport gives you, right? And you travel all over the place, depending on the number of countries your passport allows you to travel to.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is one. The PhD, like you said, a specific field, right? Then it's just a personal achievement. It's a personal achievement. So if you don't apply your personal achievement, but your passport the reason why I support him, I'll go 80% or 90%, is that when you get that particular passport, and especially the Dutch passport, the countries you can visit, he needs to apply the little education he has had, and then he will be able to achieve his dream if he's a traveler. He likes to travel around. That is one. Two, if he gets a family, he can pass on the passport, because the moment you give birth, it goes on. But you can never pass on a PhD. PhD will just, on your obituary, that is where it ends. You understand? But the moment you leave Earth, you can pass on because of the passport. Because the moment you give birth, no matter the place, that particular child becomes a citizen or holder of that passport. So that is where I agree with him. The extra 20, where I have this a little bit, I was like, you know what, just leave them to be, we know the system.
I don't think he's
but that's all. No, he wasn't. For me, it's supposed to be 100%. But I know a lot of people have catch a lot of feelings. They were just going after him. But if you listen to him carefully, I'll give you my last point. Our vice president, he's a PhD holder. And look at the decisions they've made. He has actually given a lot of people the opportunity to insult or question people with PhDs. You understand? So
I think we really gotta fragment this whole thing, because I feel like we're talking about value. We have to understand what value means, right? So we're talking about the passport and the PhD, which are both pretty much documents, right? So what is a passport? I mean, in this decision, right, a Dutch passport to an African. And I mean, what does that mean to an African? What doors do they open, right? What is the worth on a global scale, not just limited to Dutch or Netherlands? PhD from Ghana. What is it worth on a global scale? Do you know what I mean? We have to really understand what he's trying, because I feel like his whole thing was like a satire, right? When he's saying one thing, but it means another thing. I don't think he was saying it literally like, oh, this is more valuable, and saying like, this is like, heaven,
a lot of
like
people
hell.
Took it literally.
That's what I'm saying. It was more of a satire, so we have to really understand what he was trying to say. So one, value of a Dutch passport or a passport from Netherlands. What doors do they open?
I think that it opens doors in the sense that you can all of a sudden travel visa free to as many locations as possible.
I think everybody's talking about travel, but
right.
Is there nothing else besides travel? That's
where I'm coming to. So if we're talking about it on a global scale, that's what you might be able to get things easier in other countries other than the Netherlands. Whereas if you just had a PhD from Ghana
with a Ghanaian passport,
it might be difficult for you to access these benefits when you go, because take it or leave it. Once the passport is stronger, you get more attention and more benefit, more support, even when you're outside the country, than if you have a Ghana passport. But on the flip side, if we're looking at it on a global scale, if you have a PhD from Ghana, it also has its own benefits as well. Because usually when you are at that level of education, you also have doors opening for you.
But you gotta be careful though, because at the end of the day, we're talking about from Ghana, not from the Netherlands.
Actually, a PhD doesn't really matter. PhD doesn't matter.
Yeah, but we've had instances. That there were like, I think, I'm not gonna say where, like a lot of people. There was, I think, a guy from Ghana. I think he was a PhD. I think he was a doctor, so he wanted a visa to Spain. To attend a conference.
Australia too.
Was it Spain? Yeah, I think it was one for Spain. Exactly, and he got turned down.
Yes.
But in this case, if you have a Dutch passport,
you can just
pick your stuff and
this is what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
So we have to
the value right there,
right? You know what I mean, right?
But
so
also, when we use the word value, we have to be careful, because then you can have the Dutch passport and go to Australia, but what is the point? So that's another thing we can look at. Assuming you have a Dutch passport, but you don't have any skill, when you go to Australia, your life is still not going to be better than a PhD holder who is in Australia, because that person...
No. I'll cut you off right there, because the argument is, if he goes to Australia, right? I think he showed his diploma. Now he can do like affiliate courses. He can do
IATA,
crash
I think it was
courses.
an
That's
IATA
how I
course.
was about to say.
He can
When-
better himself in terms of education.
When I
right?
read,
Get
I
a
said
job.
it gives you access to quality education.
So,
Exactly.
so we're talking about that specific guy, right? But
Okay.
what I'm saying
Yeah,
is,
if we make it too broad, it gets a bit tricky.
Now, if
We
we're
have to
talking
just
about-
narrow it down.
Yeah.
Oh, can I
just-
finish my point?
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. The guy can get better in terms of education. He can go. He can go to school in the States. He can go. He has a lot of countries he can travel to, right?
Yeah.
And get some crash courses, affiliate courses, go to seminars, right? Elevate himself in terms of his education status. But if you have a PhD from Ghana, the question is, how are you even gonna get to Australia in the first place?
Yes.
Would you even get that opportunity? As
You
in,
have to
would you be
apply for
issued-
visa.
Would you even get the visa in the first place to
Yeah.
go to Australia to get that job in Australia?
that's what I'm saying. It's not a straightforward thing. So if we put him in context where we say he has a Dutch passport and an IATA qualification, of course, he can get to Australia is just an example. He can get to Australia easier than someone from Ghana. And because he has the IATA qualification, he might also be able to get a job. But we have to not forget that getting to Australia is one thing and getting into a job
No,
is another
but
thing.
before someone's travel,
Yeah.
what is the reason why he's going to Australia?
Yeah.
And what is the reason why the PhD holder is also going to Australia or America? Right? So if we find the okay, he's going for relocation, right? He's
Right.
relocating.
Yeah.
If a PhD holder is relocating, he needs to go and apply for a visa
Yeah.
and hope he gets the visa. If he gets there, he needs to go through the processes. It could take a year, it could take 2 years or whatever. You can still stay and do your job, but you have to go through processes before you can get your
documents to stay.
yes, because you still be on the Ghanaian. But this guy, the moment he gets there, let's say he's going there for education, he will go through the system and he will get a lot of benefits.
Yeah, that's for sure.
You understand? So
Yeah.
we have to look at it. For me, I think it shouldn't even be a debate. It shouldn't be, because we know what our passport is worth. We know a lot of PhD holders in Ghana. They're struggling. Some of them are quite struggling. You understand? Because I can tell you, it's a fact. My auntie has a PhD in, what do you call it? He's into this sign languages and stuff. He did it in Massachusetts or whatever. And
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts or whatever. I don't know. Massachusetts. I don't know. Leave me alone. Somebody say Massachusetts.
You actually wanted to ask what? But I'm like,
No. That's why I said I don't know.
Massachusetts.
I don't know.
Massachusetts.
I don't care.
Boston, yeah,
I don't care.
Massachusetts,
They cannot say my name properly anyway.
Exactly.
So anyway,
Exactly.
my point is, she got linked with a job in Ghana, to be precise. And because of the relationship, because it was the brother's friend who said, okay, come, we need your services, right? Blah 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 blah. She went to the interview, everything. The guy called her actually and said, listen, I'll take you today, but we cannot pay you. In Ghana.
Yeah.
So there are PhD holders in Ghana, and that is what the guy is trying to say. That yes, with your PhD, if you are in that country, it comes with that passport too. You have the double, but now you have one, and you are limping with one.
I think like
if you have the opportunity, if you have two put on the table, would you pick a PhD or would you pick a Dutch passport?
it'll be.
I'll pick
It'll
the
depend on
Dutch
my circumstances, but I think I'll be lean more to the Dutch passport because sometimes you have to use your head and not your heart. And like
And
we
the
said,
reason being?
the reason being that once I have that, then I can easily access
Opportunities.
like
Exactly.
a PhD anywhere in the world that
Exactly.
I want. But if I want to do the same on a Ghanaian passport, it will be difficult. So first I'll go for the passport that allows me to access whatever I want to access because it will be difficult on the Ghana passport.
If the question is,
Which would you pick?
oh, definitely, I'm going with him. I'll pick the Dutch passport, and if I'm interested in going back to school, I'll get free access to education or a certain percentage.
Right.
and I'll be able to educate myself again.
And luckily for we Ghanaians, you can be dual citizen anyway. So it's not like you're going to lose your Ghanaian citizenship.
Exactly. And
right.
if the question is a PhD, a Ghanaian PhD, and a Ghanaian passport, which one would you go for? Then I'll go for the PhD, right? And I'll leave my Ghanaian passport.
and be stateless.
Exactly. Be stateless. If it's that question, then, but if it, as long as it's with a different country, especially an advanced country, right?
Yeah,
I would go for there because I would get access to all the education I want.
So we both do agree that the guy was right to some extent.
Oh,
Right,
yes, he is right.
definitely,
He is right. Yeah.
I just want to add this. I feel like there are two things to look at, right? One, we're talking about the passport. The other one is the PhD, which like I said, both are documents. But I thought when it comes to the passport, right, the Dutch passport, whatever you want to do with it, right, the passport is what's taken into consideration, not the person.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
With the PhD becomes what?
The person. It's a personal thing.
Not the document.
Yeah.
Because they see it, but they're going to think next, where are you coming from?
Yeah.
What's your nationality, right?
Right.
And if they see, we know it, it's a stigmatization, right? If they see a Nigerian passport, they see a Ghanaian passport, or an African passport in general, right? There are going to be a lot of limitations.
Yeah. Maybe even better if you're from South Africa, Namibia, then you maybe
That's what I'm
a little
saying.
bit.
Because don't forget, this
considerate.
guy said he applied for a US visa or something like that. It wasn't. I think it was an e-visa. I don't even know.
They
what
have
they
this
call it.
ETA thing or something
whatever
like
he
that.
did.
Yeah.
And he said he did it online. It was like an hour and a half later. It was like, ding.
Yeah.
It was approved.
No, some of the countries is just get there and then they stamp you.
That's what I'm saying. So at the end of the day, that's what I'm saying, that whatever he's saying, it's got merit. Because your PhD is not going to lie into a lot of spaces that he can get into.
Yeah.
And the point is, once you get into those spaces, opportunities are abundant.
Yes.
Right.
It depends on how
You know
he
what I
carries
mean?
himself.
Yeah, that's
You
what I'm saying.
But you know what? I think you.
No, we talked
yeah.
about. You remember we talked about this Nigerian guy who bought a passport. You remember?
Oh yeah, right.
Teo.
Teo.
A typical example.
Yeah.
It's just a typical
Right,
example.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I was just saying that. I was just about to say that. I think, like you said, his whole idea about this revelation is a satire in a sense, because I think he was trying to shade our politicians.
Yeah, but not necessarily just PhD holders.
Right.
Yeah.
PhD
Because
is a
I
bad
think he
thing
was
or
trying to
not
send a
really
message that,
pursuing.
look, you have PhDs, but you can't run things properly. But with just my passport, it opens opportunities for me. So you have the PhD, you can't create opportunities for people, but just having this opens so many doors.
I always say, there is always that one person, in a group of people. That's what somebody says. Ghanaians are quote unquote fools. Are we all fools? No, we are not. But it is because of somebody's action, right? Somewhere. That is why somebody will say Ghanaians are fools. So it's the same. He has looked back, look at the country. Most of the decisions that are being made are people with doctorate and PhDs and behind the scenes, some behind in power and stuff. And they're like, if you're getting all this and you cannot make simple plans, you cannot deal with other countries to make your passport look as powerful as this passport. Where is the respect?
Yep, I feel like value is what the people give it, right? If you look at the States, you look at the West, you look at Europe, you look at Japan.
Yeah.
They decided to make their passport valuable.
Exactly.
And how did they do that? Developing where they come from, right?
Yeah.
Once it's like an elite club. Once you get to a certain point,
You'll be added to the club.
exactly, you can join.
So the question is, are we part?
We're not, of course, we're not.
I mean, look at Ghana, for instance. If Ghana in 5 years becomes like Dubai, I bet you our passport will move to like number
Of course,
4.
that's what it is.
Yes.
I mean,
It's as simple as that.
Okay, now compare South African passport
Yeah.
to any other country's passport
Yeah.
on the African continent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they go to about 100 and something.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It's because of
what.
where they are as a
How
developing
they
nation.
position
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
you know?
We want to go. You're in China. You want to go to Vietnam. You need to go get a visa. But you see your British, American, whatever colleagues.
They just
every
take-
holiday
let's
they just
go.
buy a ticket.
Yeah, but
and
even
go.
the Chinese now, they have like
Yeah.
visa free to tons of countries.
Most-
So like I
Yeah.
said, it's a club. If you want to join that club, you got to get your stuff done right and position yourself
Yeah.
in a way
Continue.
that you can be inducted into that club?
Years ago, right, we were here. Years ago, before, Chinese didn't have like visa free to America.
They only had about 20 or 30 countries or something like
Yes.
that.
Now go and check the number of places,
Yeah.
the number of countries the Chinese can visit.
Yeah.
Where they signed an agreement with the US years back. They were giving them 10 years.
Yeah.
Why? It is because of development.
Yeah.
Of course, but that's
Now
what I'm saying.
you can actually demand it.
Yes.
It's a
You,
club.
you can
Yes,
tell it in the
that's- it
face
gets
and say,
yourself
look,
right.
we bring money into your country, you need to open this up for us. And you look at the amount of dollars coming in, you will do it.
You will do
Because
it.
you want
Exactly.
the money.
So where is the problem? The problem is on the doorsteps of our leaders.
I honestly think that China now doesn't have visa free. Their passport is not as strong as European and American or Singapore, whatever, because of the population.
Yes.
Because if countries make it too easy, a lot of people are going to move in and invade. Besides the numbers, I think China is at a point where they could have easily been
Enter,
one of the top
in
five.
yeah.
So it is what it is. So that's what I said. I agreed with the guy to I think to the teeth, because what he said made a lot of sense.
People saying he's shading PhD holders, like, I understand. I know their feelings are hurt. I know that because you know Ghana, we have this mentality: go to school, don't create a job. You
Yeah.
go to school, finish your higher, wherever you think your mind can get you to, just get there. You get somebody to employ you.
Yeah.
And we have so many people like that in the system that nothing is clicking for them. So the moment they hear this, I was like, they know deep down, they go inside their rooms and they're like,
Yeah, there's some sort of truth in it.
this guy.
Yeah, exactly. Basically just telling
But
the truth,
online,
yeah.
they will come and just throw shades and.
You need to fight back for sure, yeah.
You know?
But I mean, if you look at countries that, let's talk about Ghana.
Yeah.
Ghana, we have visa free to quite a few countries, 60 or 70 countries.
Yeah.
Singapore, Philippines,
Yeah.
whatever, Jamaica. But people still don't go to these places. Some people do, but some people don't go. So it's not really the fear of the people from Ghana or Africa coming to invade this country. Of course, there are some countries we know when they make it visa free, people just want to go.
Yeah.
And we've said it here before, when you make it easy, people rather go and come. They don't want to stay because they know they can go anytime. But the point we are making here, like we already said, is that it's just because you are not part of that elite club. You can actually give visa free to the US, for instance, for Ghanaians. I bet you many people won't stay there.
Yeah.
They will just go and come
Yeah.
because they know they can go and come. But if you don't avail yourself, if you don't improve yourself to join that elite club, no matter how rich you are, you will still not get that benefit just because you haven't got your act right.
Yeah.
You know, these Arab countries, some of them also have easy travel to some of it, but they don't even go because their country is so supportive.
Yeah, but I was about to say I disagree with that submission. Why? Because I feel like if you could say visa free to America, 80% of those who go are not going to return. That's a fact.
That's what we might think.
No.
We
I
might think so,
support
but-
Leo here.
Can I finish my point?
Yeah.
People who return or go back is because they have a reason to go back. Either they're running a business, they got family, or they already had a job. I mean, they already had a job back home, so they have to go back to work.
Right.
But people who are actually kind of like, stranded in the middle of like, all this economic, downturn, they would not. Because let's not forget,
Yeah.
you could get something as basic as, shelving in like a supermarket, and you would live like, a bit of a comfortable life. Whereas you would not even have that kind of opportunity back home. Because we don't have like those big malls or 24-hour economy that employs people that run shifts. So let's face it, let's say we talked about it. People from Japan, they're not willing to like, relocate.
Exactly.
The Chinese, they don't really.
I was about to say, so
who do
exactly
that,
what he said.
People who do that, these are the guys that we kind of worry about doing galamsey in Ghana.
Yeah.
Because they kind of lost all hope in their small towns of village
Yeah.
they are from.
Yeah.
But in our case, it's not a small town or village. It's almost the entire country.
No,
if
but-
you pick Accra out, almost all the other regions are going.
No,
to
but
that.
you're actually echoing what he said, that if we open, he talked about elevation. So if we've elevated, then and then we get the opportunity, like they open those.
Yeah.
A lot of people will not go. That is what.
Oh yeah, that most
Yeah.
definitely. That's
Yeah.
that's
Exactly.
Well, I
So
thought you
in
meant. I
this
thought you
kind-
meant.
No, no,
right
in
now.
current situation.
no, this game.
He
What's-
refers to
what's-
Singapore, right? Because right now we can still go to Singapore.
Right.
Like, it's a free.
Yeah.
So I thought he meant if people actually open their borders.
This
No,
one.
I thought he actually said when people open their borders, right? People might just travel in and go back home without actually.
No, you need to do your
No, what's
homework
happening?
before.
Tomorrow morning there will be nobody in Ghana.
That's what I'm saying. All right, for me, I feel like we have to wrap it up.
Yeah, wrap it up.
Let's leave it to the audience to kind of make their own assertions. But
The discussion is still ongoing.
yeah, if you look at it with a really like an objective eye, you can understand what the guy is trying to say. So anyways, we'll leave it over to you guys. Leave your comments in the comment section. Let us know what you think or what you thought about what the guy said. And
See you in
we
the
out.
next video. Signing out. Peace.